Alright, so this topic is going to be about politics. And it's not your typical, shall we say, rant or topic about politics that I'm going to be going on about. It actually has more to do with what politics really looks like to me personally from my perspective without any bias. This applies to all politicians, all politics, everyone that's involved. Basically, how I see politics and politicians, specifically in the White House more than anything, is like they're playing Tea Party like daughters do with their imaginary little friends. You know, they get their little table, they get their little stuffed animals, and then they got their little tea party, you know, that type of thing. That's how I see a lot of politics, actually. Because that's essentially what they're doing. They get into their little rooms and they talk and they have their fancy little luncheons and their fancy little brunches and eat their extremely expensive food and drinks and wine, and they talk about issues and things that they think are issues, and they have this little get together with all their little buddies and enemies and go on and make these decisions among themselves that affect everybody while having tea time together. And then if they don't agree with each other, just like an act, a scripted act, as though they can be predicted. Chuck Schumer, for instance, every time the Republicans do something, Chuck Schumer's gonna get on his little podium, wear his glasses down here, look down and start talking about how he opposes it and how it's just the most evil thing in the whole wide world. And then they're gonna debate, and then they're gonna talk, and then they're gonna try to reform it, with another expensive tea party with their expensive suits. It's like a little act. It's like a little game. But this little act and this little game affects everybody. Everybody in the United States of America. That's the only difference that I see between a little children's tea party game and the adult politics world in Washington, D.C. Literally, if you just watch it and see it from that perspective, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. These people will just get in their little suits and go get all dressed up, just like a daughter would for a little tea party. Then they'll get all their other people, their friends and their foes, sit around tables and talk and eat expensive food and drink expensive drinks and, live a privileged life, much like a daughter would, because she doesn't have to pay any bills or anything like that. It totally correlates, because these rich, overprivileged fucks don't know what reality is at all. Much like a toddler having a tea party. I mean, seriously, the similarities between a tea party of a daughter and politics and their ways of being are so similar. It's kind of scary, actually. I can't get over it, though. It's really freaky. But anyways, it looks so scripted. They'll sit down, they'll converse, they'll eat and drink, they'll get together multiple times, and, they'll act like it's no big deal, or it's the biggest deal in the world, at least to each their own, party-wise. And then when a decision's made, it will affect everybody in the United States of America. Between just these individuals and the government have an effect, a small group of individuals that we have in government literally decide the fate of millions of people. Millions of people. Alright? Take that into perspective. Your daughter or child or whatever is having tea party. And the outcome of that little tea party with their imaginary friends decides decides what happens to you and the rest of America. They or she decides your fate. And that's the United States of America's government. Literally. People that don't know what the real issues in America are, that don't know what hardship is, that doesn't know anything about real world problems other than their extreme bias, their partisanship, shall we say. What they think is an issue. Just like your daughter may think not getting a new car is like the biggest problem in the world. That's literally what's going on. They think that them not getting a new car is a big deal. But in reality, we're living in a world where minimum wage cannot afford anyone a life. You have to have roommates just to barely make it. But yet we have these children in the United States of America government talking about not getting new cars for their birthday. Seriously. And just like I said, it's like a scripted act. Republican says something, Chuck Schumer's gonna put down his glasses, look down on his little podium, and start talking about how horrible it is. And vice versa. You know, if it was a Democrat that made a big thing, a Republican would get on his high horse and get on his little podium and bitch about it. I can literally predict exactly what's going to happen every single time something politically happens, because it's just so scripted looking and predictable. It should not be like that. I mean, I understand that human nature and all that shit, but come on. It's ridiculous. I cannot believe that it's that predictable and that scripted almost. Now, I'm not going and saying that this is some sort of conspiracy theory, saying, oh, it's scripted, oh, it's predetermined like the WWE. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it looks scripted because of just how predictable they are. It's like a movie. I'm not saying that it is fact, that it's totally magodally fucking scripted. No, I'm just saying it looks like that. Doesn't mean it is, just looks like it. Anyways, with that out of the way, is there anyone else that kind of sees it the same way, or did I kind of just bring it to light to you? I don't know, maybe it's just me, but honestly, it's kind of pathetic, really. I mean, like, a lot of children just gathered up and deciding the fate of America. That's really what it is, and what it looks like to me. Much less the president that we currently have. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if there's anyone else that thinks the same, but that's definitely the way that I see it. Anyways, see ya.